up? Got a SITIVIEN here, but it's got a special purpose. This is, we're going to unbox it, do a complete check-in, and then we'll check it out. But the purpose of this one, this is the SITIVIEN ST149, and it is in 14C28N steel and micarta. It was an Amazon purchase, a very inexpensive one. As a matter of fact, I believe this may be the most inexpensive 14C28N knife that you can buy on Amazon. Most certainly with micarta, and that's legit micarta. So we're gonna check it in, so we can check it out and see what's really going on with this knife. And at the end of the day, is it worth the little bit of money that they're asking for it? I can tell you already that it's filthy. Ooh, is it dirty? I mean, let's run that action a couple of times. So the lock bar is not easy to get. That action's drop shut. Pretty nice. Got a little click for the detent on the end. Let's check this. Yeah, so the blade's loose. That's not good. It's kind of definitely loose there. Sort of gritty, but oh, is it dirty? Man, be interesting. I think we most definitely can improve it and get that rock out of there. It does have caged bearings, so that'll be nice. Yeah, this lock bar access, I can already say, leaves a little bit to be desired. But, I can say we're talking about a really inexpensive knife. Let's check this detent here. Okay, well, without delay, let's get in this thing. Let's see what's going on. So yeah, I just decided to go on a hunt. What's the least expensive C28 knife that I can pick up on eBay, or I'm sorry, on Amazon? And then ultimately, is it worth it? Okay, I came out from the opposite side that I thought it was gonna. Yeah, so the question is it worth it? Because I mean, surely you can buy it for that, but then if it's garbage, then what's the point? So the main goal is to ultimately find out, is it worth the money? This scale is super dried out, so I do believe I'm gonna oil both of these scales, get a little lubrication on them, because they are very dried out. Okay, well that's what I thought. It's got some internal screws on these liners, these steel liners. There's one. And it's so dirty, we're going to do a complete breakdown on this knife. There's two. I mean, that made sense because it only had the tiny little screw on the outside. And I thought to myself, well, what's holding all this together? Yeah. Oh, man, is it dirty. Look at the dirt on this blade. 100% I can make this better. Okay. Standard steel cage bearings. Yeah, that should run pretty good, actually. Let's keep going. Not a fan of taking off inexpensive knife pocket clips. Because, man, that is a point where you can find a failure pretty quick. But I will say these screws are reasonably sized. So maybe we're going to be okay. What's the point of this? I don't know. Maybe you just need a cheap toolbox knife, or maybe it's all you can afford. And so if it's all you can afford, that doesn't mean you don't want a decent knife for your money. Yeah, another dry scale. I am going to cut some slack here because listen, this knife's under $30. And so for under $30, the idea that it's not going to just be take it out of the box and put it to work doesn't freak me out. Like the fact that I might have to put a little work into this thing to clean it or tune it, whatever, that's not overwhelming me. I do have some magic cleaner over here that I'm going to use to clean all this up, but I don't want to get it all over this table. So kind of pick some stuff up and I'll clean it and place it back. Oh man, I mean, I don't know what all that is, but whew, look how dirty my towel is already. It almost feels like glue. So hey, I'm prepared to put a little work into this project if I can be under $30 and end up with a knife that runs that's reasonable. I don't think it's a knife without a doubt that I would attempt to summit Everest with. I don't think that's the concept, man. Just a really inexpensive, a cheap 14C28N knife that in the end is nice enough, or let's say the quality is enough that I can put it in my pocket. I'd like to think that it's a step above like a gas station knife, maybe. That's what my hope would be. Because, I mean, a gas station knife will cost you $30. Sometimes. Look at the amount of dirt that come off of that knife. Wow. And I mean, this dowel I started with was clean. And it is not clean now. And I'm doing a little extra rub down on these bearings because with all that dirt, most assuredly that dirt is in these bearings. I'm going to hit this one again. Get down here in the solvent just a little bit. Alright, they look pretty shiny now. One more time. Try to attack this melt out area on this blade where these bearings are going to ride. Okay. Looks pretty clean. I think one of the things I'm going to do is I am going to oil this micarta before I do anything else. Because once I start putting it back together, I'm not going to be able to reach all this. So the other thing is if I oil this now, I can let it sit for a minute before I try to wipe off the excess. Yeah, it's soaked every bit of that oil into that micarta. You want every bit of that. I'm going to do it back too. You don't really have to do it back, but I mean, I don't need to leave it dried out the way that it was. I just put a little oil on it, but it's soaking every bit of that into that. I don't want it oily, so the way that I manage that is then I come back and I aggressively rub it with a microfiber, which will pick up all of this residual oil that's on this scale. Look at the difference. I mean, there's a huge difference between this oil scale and the dry scale. that backside that's rough, that wasn't polished, is almost completely soaked all that oil in already. But just from aesthetics, night and day. I mean, I've got hopes that when I'm done here, that I'm left with a pretty nice knife for under $30. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I hope it is. I mean, I'm not a fanboy for SITIVIEN, but I am a fanboy for, let's say, let's just call it $28. I am a fanboy for $28 knives that are in good shape, that I can carry, that I can use. I'll make sure that whatever all that was, I got that off of there. This has been relieved, sanded, so there's no sharp edges, because the scales, I believe, are kind of shadow boxed on there. Just a slight bit, yeah, so that's all been sanded and relieved. All right, I can't let it go too long, because the show has to go on, right? Let me look at this piece. All right, give it a quick wipe. I don't need to leave that oil in there. All right, let's get this excess off of these scales. You can see the difference. Here I've removed the excess oil, and the other one still has it on there. So it dries it up, but it maintains a darker color. At the end of the day, I'm not trying to get all the oil off of it. I just don't want any excess on the scale. I don't want it to feel oily or make my fingers oily when I grab or handle the knife. Yeah, feels good. Okay, reassembly. Let's get after it. One of those captured is not a captured detent pin. So I pretty much can just pick a side. I'm going to go down because there's no washers and put that close side bearing down. Where do these pins go? I didn't really pay attention to that coming out. It's got to be this one. Okay, hold on. So I have to mount that scale first. I got ahead of myself. Well, no, this one I can do anytime, but I might as well go ahead and mount it. Okay, it's not that. Those are all the same. So it's gotta be one of these. This one seems the shorter. Those three were definitely for the clip. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, I'll snug all that up later. All right, let's go back with that bearing. Down. Get this pin in place. Okay, that's what I'm missing. I did get ahead of myself. Let me Okay, so I forgot to do these before I put the scale on. So I paused the video and I went back and put those in. So now let me catch up, put that scale back on again. Got a little backwards on this reassembly. I guess I just took it for granted that it's inexpensive, so it's uncomplicated. But in the end, it demanded just a little more out of me than I expected. But we're caught up now. Back to ground zero. Okay. I mean, these little internal screws are something that I probably didn't expect on this price range of a knife. And I'll be honest, so far what I'm seeing, I'm not really sure why the knife is so inexpensive. Because, I mean, you got stainless liners, micarta, you got a G10 backspacer, you got caged bearings. I mean, none of that says that it should be this price. Now, it doesn't have a captured pivot screw, but I was able to tighten it, so there's absolutely no play in this blade now. The question is, do I have it too tight? Because it is definitely tight. Yeah, still solid. Still solid. Let's see how that drops now. I mean, that's a really nice action. Let me, I want to give this a good rub down. Get any excess oils off of it before I put the clip on it. I mean, maybe that's why it's so expensive, is because they give you a cleaning fee credit to clean it up. Because, ooh, it needed it. So the pocket clip is recessed into the micarta. Not a big fan of that. But it's 3 screws. It's not 1 screw. So, I mean, I'm not going to give it a complete pass, but I will kind of, I'm not going to say I'm going to go easy on it. I will mention that I'm not a fan of it. Just because, in the end, enough play in this could waller this out. And it doesn't appear to be sitting down in there very well either. Let's do the two-hand operation. And like I said during the disassembly, this is the part that, out of the whole knife, could be concerning in my opinion. Tightening these pocket clip screws can be hazardous because you could strip one of these out for sure. But you can't not tighten them. And these are fairly good sized screws, so I'm a little more confident. Sometimes these screws are so tiny that just looking at them you go, yeah, that's going to be an issue. But these are taking a good torque on them, so I'm not concerned. Okay, I'm going to put away my tools and let's focus on this knife. I mean, that action, it's almost like right on the edge of drop shut, and maybe run those bearings a little more on that knife surface and they'll get there. The detent's pretty good. I think I can fail it. Yeah, I can fail it. But any amount of flick on that and it'll go. So even just the lightest amount of pressure will take that home. Maybe not the lightest because that one failed it. But just a little bit and it'll run. Right on the edge of drop shut. It's locked up tight. There's no play in that blade. Spidey flick. I threw quite a bit of wrist in that. Let's see if I can get into it. There's just not a lot of room there. So, yeah. So just straight out throwing that finger allows that to go. Same thing with the thumb. Just got to dig in and go for it. All right. Ergonomics. It's got a really confident grip. The pocket clip disappears in the palm. It's right where it belongs. And it's got jimping on the top. That's, on first appearances, it's pretty aggressive. Feels fairly aggressive, but it's not very bitey. And I just think it's smoothed off. The edges were sanded. So it's not a very solid, confident planting spot. But this here is really good. This finger guard from the flipper tab provides 100% confidence here. So this grip is very confident and strong. And you can choke up here, but just the nature of this, it's forcing you down on the edge of that blade. So I don't really recommend using that, but you could, I don't know, chopping whatever. But this is a good grip here. And yeah, so grip's good. Let's check that clip. Yeah, it's got a little bump getting in there, but that's on these thick pants. Pretty sure if we go back to the thin, when we go back there, it's going to go right in and out. It's not a super deep carry. It's leaving quite a bit exposed, but I'm sure that's by design to get a hold of that, to get it out of there, which is perfect for that. These screws from the pocket clip just lend itself perfectly to grab onto this knife and get it out of the pocket. Yeah. Yeah, she's really running drop shut now. So yeah, on the thin pants, its grip's good. This is basically the size of jeans right here. So it grips good, goes in good. Pocket clip's in good shape. Let's check it for safety. So on this backspacer, yeah, the backspacer's almost, it's 50% of the blade, but there's no way to touch that blade there. Let's check that tip. Ooh, that's out there, man. Come on. Yeah, so even trying to dig in there, I can't get that. So the tip's a pass, the clip's a pass, and blade contact on the back is a pass. So we're down to availability and price. So the price on this, there's a 5% coupon code, makes this knife $28.50. And availability, it's a next day deliver from Amazon. So $28.50, 14C28N, the ST149 SITIVIEN, brown micarta, real micarta. It's not some inlay. It's got a functional pocket clip. $28.50. So The question is that worth? Is it the cheapest? I don't know. I'm gonna say, and it's got to be right up there for the materials. 14C28N and micarta. It's definitely, if it's not the cheapest, it's contending for that title for sure. But is it worth it? I mean, $28. I mean, golly. If you got a guy that's, working on your landscaping crew and he doesn't have a pocket knife, a inexpensive Christmas gift for some guys that work on the crew, whatever. Man, this thing, $28.50. And I'm pretty sure that whoever got this knife, just from the action, the materials, it's going to get put to use. Now, I will say, keep in mind, I put a little bit of work into this to make this as nice as it could be. So, anyways, I appreciate you watching. Thanks. Oh, hey, does it cut? Let's check it. So, 2850 micarta, 14C28N, and super sharp. Yeah, I would recommend it for the right environment. Thanks.